Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to my good old friend Ravichandran Swaminathan ji. Many were asking BRICS currency backed by gold. You were the ones who have been doing it for the last 2 to 3 years. Why are you not repeating? Then Ravichandran ji said, no repetition now. At least people are remembering that we said much before dollar is going to decline. The fall of dollar will invite a new currency. It will be backed by gold. And specifically BRICS, he was very categorical and clear that PPT also we are going to do the next show in remembrance. So thanks a lot. Much in advance, Ravichandran Swaminathan ji tries to understand and analyze the situation in larger public interest, in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the world. Because we are all human. We say global chain. That is what we are trying to do. And today's show is very pertinent. What is happening in Middle East? Israel versus Iran, Lebanon. Now Saudi Arabia slowly slipped away. And the other countries' nexus with the silent support of China, aggravated by Russians' open support. We remember old-time movies, mythological movies, our epic stories, Mahabharatam, Ramayanam, you know, Vittalacharya and the names of those Reddys, Chandamama group from Chennai. They used to bring us those technologies in those years. You fire one Barnum from this side, the other side also they will fire, and this is how arms, you know, they used to picturize it in that way for us to understand what is the definition of war. At least those days they had ethical wars which were being fought. Now, are these wars really ethical? Is it not just for the profits of arms makers, whether it is America, Russia? When America says missiles, they say they are going to defend with Russian this thing. See, what is it? And China will pip in between. He said, I have got both of these technologies. I have masterminded and I have made in China, both American and Russian. Like what Indians are doing now, the Indian agents, those business magnates, they try to import everything and from China, label it as made in India. So will come. So in this, is it not humanity which is going to lose? The loss of precious lives, properties, and more so after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, now Russia and Ukraine war. Don't you think the entire environment is going to take a big beating? Already the world's temperatures are rising. And top of that, if this war is going to destabilize us, even if you are living, even if you are not part of it, this war, don't you think they are going to kill us with the rapid changes in the climate or environment? Thank you very much, sir. Such a wonderful opportunity you gave to DRTSPR channel, sir. Please go ahead. And if you want, as and when you want, I'll try to display the PPT also immediately. If you want immediately, I'll put it across. Or else first remarks from your side.
Yeah, first I'll start out with the remarks.
Yeah.
First, I have to thank Dr. Reddy for giving me this platform to talk about subjects of my interest. And one thing I like about Dr. Reddy's channel or talking on Reddy's channel is that I am permitted to express my opinion, even if it is not to the liking of Dr. Reddy, or even if it is against Dr. Reddy's opinion. And in these days, forget about permitting one to express a contrary opinion. The most important thing is he doesn't stop me in the middle to express his opinion also.
So sure, no.
And for that, I have to be very grateful to you, Dr. Reddy.
Then,
because I've been seeing so many panels, so many shows and all that, where invariably the anchor tries to force his opinion on the panelist. Here it happens the other way around. I am given the majority of my time to express my opinion. And even at the end of it, Dr. Reddy simply says one line. Even if it is contrary, he has got the right to express it. That is democracy in action.
Yeah.
So with that, I will start out. On today's topic, the World War III, or how war has evolved in current scenario. You can put the PPT also if you want, Dr. Reddy.
Yeah, I'll start.
Actually, for history people, uh, people who are interested in history, who are history buffs like me, the First World War it was called the War of Trenches. Germany attacked France, and there was this huge trench built right across France. A number of trenches across different cities in France. And basically, it was people occupying the trenches between one country and the other country, and they were fighting at very close quarters. It was not even a few hundreds of feet separated these trenches, and people were hiding inside the trenches. And when the chance comes, they get out, shoot a few of these things, advance a few feet. Progress was considered if you make 100 feet, 100 yards forward, it was considered a victory. Progress was contemplated only in few hundreds of yards. And one thing about the First World War was that the civilian population was largely unaffected by the war. Yes, the war happened in outside cities, but the civilian population was not killed or injured, or there was infrastructure damage inside these cities. The war was confined to the battlefield. Among soldiers, the casualties were high, not because of guns or weapons or anything like that. It was more because of diseases in the trenches. In fact, there was a trench disease itself, a very dangerous disease. And as the war progressed, people started using machine guns. It was invented then. Tanks, poison gas. These were the things that the human beings invented to kill each other. So that, and remember, these inventions came either during the war or at as the war progressed. So that is how the First World War was fought. The Second World War, it was a mechanical war. It was a war of machines, because by that time, the tanks had developed, aeroplanes had developed, machine guns, artillery, everything was developed, and all these were used. The human being was operating the machines, but basically it was the machines which were fighting the war. And motorized vehicles were used to multiply the effectiveness of the army. The Air Force was used to bomb the civilian structures, infrastructures. Then you had submarines which were attacking cargo ships, navy destroyers, etc. And airplanes were used to not only bombing, but it was also used to transport troops. In fact, the longest day in the Second World War was how airplanes were used to drop paratroopers over Normandy Breach and across the English Channel. And wherever the cities were well fortified, the opposing army just went around the city and attacked it from the rear. Civilian casualties were very high. And in this war, the first time America used the atomic bomb over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, showing how hundreds of thousands of people could be killed by a single bomb. But despite the use of machines, you required boots on the ground. Soldiers were required to capture a place, secure a place, and make it, sterilize it for further progress. Communications was a big thing, and that had improved a lot. So in this war, machines had already been developed, which were developed in the First World War, were further innovated and used for killing people. And this is how the Second World War happened. Today I don't know if people realize that we are in the middle of a world war right now. You have got an active war in Europe between Ukraine and Russia, with NATO or Western European countries ranged on one side, and on the other side you have Belarus, Russia, China, and some of the Middle East countries which are supporting Russia on the other side, North Korea, for example. So you have two alliances now. You have the Western Alliance and you have the Eastern Alliance comprising of Russia, China, North Korea, some areas in the Middle East, etc. Belarus, for that matter.
Iran too.
And on the other side, you have the Americans and the Ukrainians, of course. Germany, France, Sweden, Norway, all these people are supporting Ukraine. So there is an active war going on in Ukraine, and this is happening for more than 2 years. Now there is another front which has opened up in the Middle East, where Iran is attacking Israel, and Yemen is supporting Iran, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. All these people are supporting Iraq. Surprisingly, the fountainhead of Islam, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, that is the United Arab Emirates, most of them at least, with the exception of maybe Qatar, they have not joined either side. And this is probably because of the schism between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And the realization in Saudi Arabia that war is not going to solve anything. Probably that is also one of the reasons why Saudi Arabia is keeping aloof.
Shia and Sunni factor also. Shia and Sunni.
Yes. And the surprising thing in this, I wouldn't say surprising. Probably till before the COVID, we were talking about video games, where people were sitting in front of computers and playing video games, war games on videos, where they use the joystick to destroy the enemy. What we are seeing in these two wars is virtual games have become real now. It is no longer a game which is played on the computer or before a laptop screen or a computer screen. It is now in actuality. A person sitting in America or distant Russia is now guiding drones to attack other people. So this has become a virtual war. And that is why I have labeled this as the war of joysticks. Because people are using joysticks to control the drones, control the missiles, and like Dr. Reddy said in his inaugural this thing, okay, we have seen it in the Mahabharata war, where one side shoots arrows and the other side shoots arrows, and both of them meet in the middle with an explosion, and the entire thing is gone. I only hope that all the arrows that were mentioned in the Mahabharata, like the Nagastra or the Pasupati Astra or even the Brahmastra, they are not used now. And I won't be surprised if they are used also. Because just like Aswathama unleashed the Brahmastra, and he couldn't take it back because he did not know how to do it. Similarly, if suppose Iran or Israel, they shoot a nuclear missile, they won't know how to stop it. And unfortunately, we don't have an Arjuna here to stop it.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So today we are going increasingly across this. And incidentally, when I talked about the Brahmastra, China has already unleashed the Brahmastra once. That Brahmastra was the COVID,
Fine.
the corona disease.
Yeah.
And at least we had an Arjuna in India who could prepare a vaccine. There were people in India who referred to our traditional medicines, Ayurvedic and homeopathic medicines, and we were able to nullify the effect of the COVID because of that. But even though we had the medicines, as Dr. Reddy will tell you, there were pharmaceutical companies which were influenced YouTube and Google to stop these channels from giving that information outside because they wanted to money. And this is where I come to the next part of my this thing. You can go to the next slide, Dr. Reddy. And that is where I go to the next part of it. The first part of it is the information warfare which is being fought. Today, if Dr. Reddy's channel, if somebody, a resource person comes and talks something which the Americans don't like, which the Western worlds don't like, which the pharmaceutical companies in the West don't like, or whether if even our own government does not like it, then what happens is they immediately censor this channel or block this channel or play dirty tricks to stop this channel from broadcasting that information. This is information warfare. Today, artificial intelligence is being used to create fake news. Artificial intelligence is used to create fake degrees. Artificial intelligence is being used to create a lot of havoc in the internet. This is information warfare. Today, elections are happening in America. But most of the election wars, speeches, etc. are happening on the social media, on YouTube, on the electronic media channels, where everybody who has got an camera and a computer starts talking nonsense. They are trying to influence people. These people are called influence peddlers. They are trying to psychologically convince people that one party is right or the other party is right. Forget it that both the parties are wrong. That's a different issue. But that is for America to decide, not for me to sit down here and say, tell the Americans, vote for this person or vote for that person. That is not for me to say. So you have a lot of information warfare going where one party gives misinformation or disinformation, fake news, influence peddling. Everything is happening. And unfortunately, people don't have the patience to sit down and listen to a YouTube channel or take out the paper and read the news and understand for themselves. Today, everything has to be condensed within 240 characters and given out as a byte. And people don't go beyond that byte. People don't analyze what is behind that byte. They take it as gospel truth. So this is the information channel that is being fought. Channels like the DRTSPR channels, they are fighting to give the correct information, even though Dr. Reddy may not agree with it. But still, in the interest that the viewer or the reader should understand both sides of the story, he gives people like me permission to talk without censoring. And that point has to be appreciated. Very few channels have that, what I should say, a broad mind to accept contradictory opinions also. They may not agree. That is their problem. That is for the listener to decide. And that is to be appreciated. So information warfare is going on and people more channels like this should come up, because only then people will have a clear understanding of the issue. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me. That is different. You may have a different opinion. Yes, I accept that. Because your perspective is different, my perspective may be different. Probably I will learn from your perspective. You may learn from my perspective. But the point is, the conclusion that will be arrived at will be based on different perspectives, and that will be a better perspective than a single person's view. This is how the information warfare has to be fought, not by censoring channels, not by closing down channels. So this is the first war that is going on, the information warfare. The second warfare is economic warfare. Sanctions. US has put down sanctions on Russia because of Ukraine. Economic blockades. For example, China, US has imposed sanctions on Iran. They are not permitting material to go into Iran. The Houthis in Yemen, they are blocking the Red Sea channels. They are preventing cargo from coming through the Red Sea. And now cargo is going around South Africa. There is disruption in trade transactions. For example, US shut down this SWIFT transfer for Russia. So what Russia did was they created their own channels for transactions. See, the problem is it reverberates on the person doing these sanctions. And the net result is there is a lot of disruption in economic this thing. And this is an economic warfare which is going on. For example, India, China. Now, India is restricting Chinese imports. America is restricting Chinese imports. So these sorts of, and the net result is when countries like this are affected, they come together and they'll find an alternate channel going out of. Incidentally, when I was talking about BRICS last time, when Dr. Reddy and I were discussing about the BRICS, this thing and the price of gold, de-dollarization, etc., I would like to remind the listeners that we had predicted that 400 tons of gold, Indian gold, is lying with England, and India should bring it back. Reserve Bank of India is now bringing back that gold. Already 200 tons have come back, and this Deepavali, 102 tons have been brought back. So now probably about 100, 150 tons are only lying with England. This, they should have done it earlier. But anyway, better late than never. Yeah. And this also was predicted by us, by this channel, 2 years back. When the Ukraine war started and when the sanction happened, we said that India should bring back the gold, because at some point in time, if there is sanction on India, these countries will lay their hands upon that gold. De-dollarization, that also took place. But anyway, that is for a different thing. But this is all part of economic warfare. George Soros, people like George Soros, these people are attacking the stock exchange by releasing fake news, like the Hindenburg report. That is one of the reasons why we should not permit any single individual to take control of large number of industries or businesses or make their economic empire grow. For example, today we have an Ambani, we have an Adani. Now these people start dictating terms, then what is it democracy that we will be talking about? Just like what George Soros is doing in America, it is quite possible that an Adani or an Ambani can do in India also. Then what control will the government have? If Adani decides tomorrow to shut down the stock exchange, he can do it. If Ambani decides he wants to stop the oil import, he can do it. Why should one person have that power? This is a very dangerous situation. When all the power, all the wealth is concentrated in one or two hands or three hands, then it is no longer a democracy. It becomes an oligopoly. Like the tail which will wag the dog, these people will start dictating terms to the democratic government. This is a danger which every country is facing, every democratic country is facing. Now, non-state actors, countries like America are using non-state actors like Panoon and George Soros to disrupt or destroy the stock exchanges, banks. Economically, they want to destroy this country. That is why we have people targeting economic targets. That I will come to it later. Then the third one is the guerrilla warfare. Originally, the guerrilla warfare started in Vietnam, but now it has been refined. Today, we call it terrorism. Pakistan, the main export of Pakistan is terrorists. And we have got a most favored nation agreement between India and Pakistan. Pakistan can send over terrorists anytime they want across the border, completely armed. And we don't even have to pay them because Pakistan itself is printing the currency and giving it to them. And these people are now targeting economic targets in India, vulnerable economic targets. First, they started by sabotaging trains, by putting sleepers, concrete blocks, cylinders, removing fish plates, removing those locks, and derailing trains. So this is the first step. The second step was by giving hoax calls to airplane carriers like Air India or Indigo or SpiceJet, saying that there's a bomb placed in the airplane. So each time airplane is threatened, that airplane necessarily has to go to the ground, a full checkup has to be done, and only then it can be permitted to fly again. And this is costing an enormous loss to the airports. So these are all economic targets. The third thing is where they are using guerrilla warfare, terrorists, to target military installations, to target civilian institutions, so that the people and the government, they are always kept off balance. Because tomorrow, I don't know what bomb is going to explode where and how many people are going to die. People have started getting a level of fear inside them. Today, if I have to go by train, I don't know whether I will reach my destination or whether it will be sabotaged somewhere in between. Once you create that fear inside that population, then the economic chaos will really begin. People will lose trust. Then this is also part of the psychological warfare. For example, in the South China Sea, or between North Korea and South Korea, or between China and India, psychological games are being played.
We have 10 minutes more, sir.
Psychological games are being played. Because of this, people will start distrusting. And finally, I come to this cyber warfare. Drones, hackers, you have malware, DDoS attacks, attacks on critical infrastructure. This is what is happening and this is what we are seeing. Incidentally, China has now started combining cyber warfare with artificial intelligence, which means we are going to the next level of warfare. And that is going to be very dangerous. Next slide, please. The last slide. So, as and when warfare becomes more and more automated and disconnected, because it is just like a video game. The person sitting in front of it, when he plays a game and he kills a person, he knows that person is going to get up and you can play it again. But in real life, it is not happening like that. If I shoot a person, he is dead. That's it. If I explode a building, it explodes. That's it. There is destruction. People don't realize that human impact, that human feeling, that human emotions, these are not being involved in the warfare. And as warfare becomes more and more automated, there is a real risk that these conflicts will go unchecked and beyond the control of human beings. And when that happens, then we do not know where we will end up. Just like what happened with the coronavirus, we don't know what will happen, and this will spell the end of the human race. So through your channel, I wish that people who listen to this, they start raising their voices against the government, against people who are going into all this, and tell them that stop it. Enough is enough. Let us act with reason. There is no point in depending upon the United Nations. The United Nations has become emasculated. It cannot do anything. And this is the problem. The Security Council is divided between the Americans, the Chinese, and the Russians. They also cannot do anything. It is for the rest of the people to come in. And this is where countries like India, Brazil, South Africa, Australia can come into the picture and say enough is enough. Let us act with reason. Let us act like human beings. Let us act with some principles. And through your channel, I make an appeal to all of you people, please, if you can get some 10 people to listen, talk to them, tell them that this is what is happening. Let this spread. Otherwise, it will become an end game for human beings. Thank you, Dr. Reddy.
Oh, you have used a big term, end game for human beings. And wonderful presentation once again, Swam. And I would like to have questions now. Now, I see the export of human services now. The export of human services, unfortunately, they are offering huge money so that many, right from nursing or to migrate to such war-torn areas, how safe and secure they will be. India should be exporting such type of things, human resources, or India should be playing a role wherein we say we are a Vishwa Guru and we adhere to the basic tenets of Hinduism, tolerance, and peace should reign so that the race doesn't end, this human race.
Essential services like medicines or medical people can be sent. But again, we have to lay conditions before sending these people. We have to ensure that they are safe wherever they go. And we have to ensure that if there is a situation where it is required that they are in danger, we should be able to bring them back instantaneously. We cannot depend upon other countries to keep our people safe. If we have to send people to, say, Israel or to Iran, then we have to lay conditions to Iran and Israel saying that our people should not be involved in any war or any war-related activities. They can be there only on humanitarian considerations. And they should be under no danger whatsoever.
But with joystick operations, with unmanned controlled drones, how do you think that they will be safe?
That is for the other country to provide the necessary protection. If they can attack with the drones, they can protect with the drones also. It is up to them. And unless we are convinced of such protection, we should not be sending people over there.
But India should take a major role. Ministry of
External Major role
should not allow. But innocent people, they are being drawn in the name of fat salaries, good purse, huge amounts every month with free accommodation, everything. They are being lured. And don't you think this is a pure honey trap?
Yeah, this is a honey trap. This is a money trap, not a honey trap. This is a money trap. Tomorrow it is going to affect our economy also. Because a person who is getting 1.5 lakhs in Israel is not going to come back and work for about 1,000 rupees per day or 30,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees in India. It is going to cause us economic losses in India also. Government should understand that it is not money. It is not, everything is not money.
So
there are some things more important than that. Yes, like I said, and for humanitarian considerations, I can send, say, 100 people or 200 people or 200 doctors, 200 nurses. But for that matter, I cannot send engineers and masons over there.
But even doctors and nurses also, don't you think here India needs them more? And they'll not come back.
No, that is the thing. That is, you have to lay conditions.
Yeah.
You go there, be there for 3 months, 6 months, come back. Let the next batch go. That's how it should be done, and under strict conditions. Under strict conditions and guarantees of protection.
Yeah,
yes.
Protection of life.
Under strict guarantees of protection. That is essential.
Now, as you rightly said, now we have got only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Now, how would you label this war? Don't you think this is on the verge of now the elections around the corner in America? As and when elections in America start happening, last year also we have seen how China and all they were trying to. Now, Ukraine war. Now, how do you think that these things will influence them? Because is it not just for the sake of pumping money into American elections? These arms dealers, they are indulging in all these things, and they have destabilized Security Councils, United Nations. Everything has gone to rock.
Yeah, it is American arms industry which is responsible for most of these things. And it is only those people who are making money. They are not going to leave this. Yes, what you said is 100% right. What you said is 100% right. And this is where we have to. That is why I said, unless people come together and say with one voice, enough is enough.
Yeah. So with one voice, enough is enough. And we will end this show with the same, enough is enough. United Nations peacekeeping forces, everything has gone to rock. Security Council, nothing, they are not doing anything. So as human beings, let us come together, because world is a small global village. Now start sharing this video, this show across the globe, that war is going to destroy all of us. And it is going to see that the environment wherein you need good oxygen, potable water, living conditions, food, everything will get destroyed. What will be left in the present? There will be nothing in store in future for our kith and kin. So war and such type of joystick wars, uncontrolled wars with drones and with all those biogas poisons, they are going to destroy not just Israel, Iran, Ukraine and Russia, but the entire world. Watch out, all those arms dealers. Never get into their hands and their type of dissemination of information, which is very, very dangerous. And I only hope Indian government will take a call and it will start thinking wisely to protect our Indians and see that this money trap is gone once for all. Only that way we will be Vishwaguru. And this is the best moment for India to act as a Vishwaguru for peace.
Correct.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Do support DRTSPR channels. Anyone can participate.